let's not fucking race each other when the roads have snow on them, please. Because I'm going way too fast right now. audio's kind of stuff.
That really are explained. Universal DNA in my vein. I know it sounds bizarre. I'm from past the stars. It sounds bizarre. I'm from past the stars. They call you crazy for thinking too much. Then too connected means losing touch. But humans don't crave normal ones. But the abstract gets subtracted from every TV, every talk show that is programmed. Lights flicker when I walk up in a room full of people.
Fight companion. That's lame. What about no football shit. Sean Ryan. Oh, Vivek Ramaswamy.
This episode is brought to you by
Truck check
Shopify.
open ahead.
Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that
What the fuck is
supercharges your
this?
selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics in just one click. Sign up today for your first $1 trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
What are we supposed to do? Thank you, South Dakota.
Vivek, welcome back.
Imagine if they fucking inspected me again today.
I like this studio because I do a lot of
That would suck.
podcasts or whatever. Help you on. You have a similar belief and conviction in air conditioning as I do. Yeah. So thank you for that. Like a nice chill. Like a nice chill. But same thing. Yeah. But yeah, saw you at the inauguration. Yeah. Saw you there. Army Navy games. Army Navy times. Yep. Thanks for getting me. Yeah, that was so fun. And but yeah, so lots happened, you know, since I saw you last, especially since we interviewed, and so, you know, a lot of good stuff to cover today. But I gotta ask, come on, are you running for a governor in Ohio, or what's going on here?
I mean, I gotta wait to formally announce it, but that is the direction I'm headed. So late February, man, we'll have a big announcement coming.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What moved you from, you know, I mean, you ran for president. You're gonna run for governor likely, and so what was the
Thank
shift?
God
Why
this
did you
guy's not
decide
our
to
president.
concentrate more on state?
Well, look, it's a couple reasons. I mean, one is if we get the job done, I say we as a movement, if Donald Trump gets the job done over the next couple of years at the federal level, the action shifts to the states. In 2 to 3 years, take the Department of Education, dismantle the Department of Education, dismantle a lot of these regulatory agencies. When in doubt, my advice has always been kick it to the states.
Well, hold on.
Follow their vision.
So isn't this the same guy that said all Americans are lazy and stupid, and yet he wants to dismantle the Department of Education? Which I've got my problems with, you know, the DOE,
Tearing down the administration.
but I think there's some irony in there.
That can't be led by the federal government. It has to be led by the states. And I had a good time, you know, over the last year helping President Trump in whatever way I could, bringing young people along in the coalition, help him get elected. Started off with Doge, helped get that off the ground. But where I look to where the puck is going, if we get that job done at the federal level, tear down the bureaucracy, downsize the federal government, it's going to require real leaders at the state level to catch the pieces. And I realized when I'm looking at that, that's a couple of years down the road. I wanted to skate to where I thought the puck was going.
Why do you say it's all moving to the state? I mean, I had a very interesting conversation with Eric Prince quite a while ago on here, and this
Very smart guy. Yeah,
yes,
interesting dude.
love talking to Eric, but he kind of changed my mindset. You know, a lot of people were worried how this election was going to go, and Eric kind of put it in my head, you know, that hey, the states might be even more important than the federal government, and we should be focusing maybe more on local municipalities and state government rather than federal government, because that's what affects your immediate area that you live in. And you know, and it really resonated with me. And so I mean, you're saying it starts with the federal government by basically gut.
Yeah, I mean, what happened right now is the federal government is doing all the things that it shouldn't be doing, while failing to do the few things that it should be doing. What are the few things the federal government should be doing? One key responsibility is protecting the homeland of its nation. The United States of America, the sovereignty of the U.S., starts even with the physical sovereignty of the U.S. Basic borders. We have not done basic border control in this country. We've had more illegal entry at the southern border than we've ever had in our national history. That is a failure of the federal government. We could go on the other failures too. We are lacking defense systems. We're lacking in cyber defense systems, super EMP defense systems. So the national defense function of actually defending our own homeland, forget meddling around in other countries, our own homeland, we've already failed to do that. But that's because the federal government is in part focused on doing a bunch of things that it shouldn't have been doing in the first place. Regulating industries, you got a Department of Education that's meddling in the way that we educate our kids, thinking about impediments to nuclear energy in the United States. It starts with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission at the federal level. It's doing a bunch of things that fall outside of what our founding fathers envisioned in the Constitution. The Constitution says, Article 1, here's what's actually the powers of Congress to legislate. And if it's not in Article 1, Congress doesn't have the power to do it. The 10th Amendment says that which is not reserved to the federal government is reserved respectively to the states and to the people. So if you can't find the reservation of authority in the Constitution, then there's very specific categories of what Congress is able to do. If it's not one of those categories, that means by definition the rest is left to the states. A big frontier that's on a lot of people's minds, for example, is education. The federal government should basically have no role in shaping K through 12 or frankly even higher education. That is left to the states, and part of our model was we want states competing with one another. Right? The same principle in capitalism that causes us to create value, where businesses compete with one another. Competition breeds innovation. That's what our founding fathers envisioned, if you read the Federalist Papers, with respect to our model of federalism anyway. And so when I looked at, and obviously I ran for president, I think that's the highest impact position you could possibly have, and I think Donald Trump is the man for our hour and the man for this moment. But when you look at the other way, the next most impactful way, at least for me, where I could say, here are things I could do through public service as a leader, where you see tangibly the impact of actually the decisions you make, it wasn't even close where you would have that large impact. It was as governor, and among elected office, that was the place I was drawn to look next. And that's the way our country is supposed to actually work, where you got people leaving California and New York in droves. Where are they headed? Right now they're going to Florida and Texas. You know, Tennessee, since it's gone to effectively zero tax, has been more successful. You got states, other states that are largely blue states that they're leaving, but Ohio's kind of interesting in this regard. It's a red state, it's a conservative state, but at least as of last year, it was still number 38 in terms of people leaving versus netting coming to the country, coming to the state. Yeah, and I think that leaves a lot of room for improvement. It's a state that in a lot of ways has been headed in the right direction, but I think right now we need a governor, not only in that state, but across the country, governors who are willing to step on the gas and actually govern conservative populations with conservative principles, to do it unapologetically, and to take on the problems that the federal government can't actually solve in its own right.
You know, I want to dig more into that, but when it comes to...
I don't know, it doesn't sound like he really said anything about what he intends to do to help the people of Ohio.
A lot of people are really upset.
I don't really... I mean, we'll see how he elaborates.
California.
But
Sure.
I don't know.
You know, I'm sure there's getting ready to be another big influx as soon as these insurance companies start paying out for all these fires.
Yeah.
So the mishaps that went on there. But, you know, it's something that I hear, Tennessee is getting overrun with people fleeing their states. And, you know, while it's great to have all these new people coming in, it's pricing all of the locals that made this state what it is today. It's driving them out with the home prices, with inflation. It's just driving everything up, especially in this county. And so, is there any way to? What are your thoughts on that? Do you want Ohio to become that?
So I don't want Ohio to become Silicon Valley, and frankly, I don't even want Ohio to become Texas or Florida, even though those are well-run states. I want Ohio to be the best version of itself, actually.
Texas is not a well-run
what Silicon
state.
Valley was to the American economy for the last 20 years, I think Ohio, the Ohio River Valley can be for the next 20. It's not going to be through bits, that's Silicon Valley's model, but what I call through atoms, through production of stuff, of actual tangible things that we require in the defense industry. And you look at building up our defense industrial base, aerospace innovation. Ohio's actually great.
Oh, so he's going to be a
Wide
DoD
open
shell,
plains, you have no
which
state
there's a lot of those in Ohio. A lot of fucking
John
DoD contractors are based in fucking Ohio,
First person in the world.
and they have some of their manufacturing there. So he's just going to go to Ohio and support the military-industrial complex.
Whole opportunity.
Thanks, Ramaswamy.
Crypto state that leads the way in crypto and Bitcoin innovation. You go the distance. I want Ohio to be at the leading edge of also using AI not just to take jobs, which is what people worry about, but actually to make jobs. If you train workforces to use AI, you increase productivity. So Silicon Valley is focused on training algorithms. I think if you're focused on training people to use AI, you can actually increase their productivity probably tenfold in a way that doesn't take those jobs. So I don't want Ohio to imitate Silicon Valley or try to be something that it's not, or try to be Texas or Florida. We got 4 seasons up there. It's a real state. There's a reality to it. If you go 100-mile radius of Columbus, draw a little circle around that, that's a cross-section of the country. I grew up in Cincinnati. I built my first business in New York. Before we had kids, I wanted to go back to Ohio because we don't want to raise our kids in Manhattan. And so I don't want to pretend to be something else. I want it to be the best version of ourselves. But yeah, I want to open arms to people from patriots from across the country to say that if you want to live in a state where you're able to pursue economic excellence, turn a state into a kind of special regulatory economic zone for many of these industries, to say that you don't want regulatory overreach to get in your way, great, come to Ohio. If you want to come to a state where your kids are able to actually get a good education on reading and writing and math, which is a major problem in our country, I want those people coming in, but without creating some of the issues you've seen in housing markets and other in places like Tennessee. Even look at what's happened in markets like Austin. How do you do that? Well, first, go back to the philosophy of what causes a lot of those inflationary spikes are supply constraints. So part of the reason housing costs have gone up so much is that we don't actually permit new house construction or new home construction at the rate that we should, because there are barriers, especially even in single family home type communities, to say that if it's a family home of a certain size and the lot size is less than a certain amount, a half acre or whatever, you can't build a new home. That actually prices especially young families out of the market because you have a constraint on supply. So my general philosophy is we want to increase the supply of everything. That includes the supply of housing, it includes the supply of energy, it also includes the supply of people, because that is actually something that allows a business to grow, is if you have talented people in your state, American patriots to hire, that's great. But if you increase the supply of both energy and housing and everything else required for those people to live affordable lives, that's how you match the demand going up. You got to also
So all of a sudden now he's about hiring Americans instead of just hiring H-1B visas.
We're attractive places to live.
Interesting.
But you have the influx. You got to be prepared to really increase, for example, the supply of housing, really increase the supply of energy in a way that keeps those costs down.
What about stuff like the more traditional generational occupations like farming?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't know how, like farmer here, here in this county, I mean, you sell 1,000 acres here, I mean, you're looking at probably a couple $100 million,
Mm-hmm.
And so you have these farms, these cattle farms, and all these people that are, I mean, I know it's probably for the greater good. I don't know, I know it definitely boosts the economy, but I mean, farmers are just getting run out of here. I mean, it's
Totally.
they can't sustain, a 1,000-acre cattle ranch when they can sell it for a couple $100 million. And then the other thing, well, I'll let you riff off that.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
But then the other thing is, and this isn't just my opinion. I mean, you can look at any Facebook group, you can hear the local gossip around town, and the big worry is this influx of people from California, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I mean, are they going to flip the state? Everybody's worried. Are we going to start seeing the things in the schools here that you saw where you came from? And it's a huge worry. So I don't know, it seems like here it might, I would like to see the growth slow a little bit. And so is there a way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think all else, it depends on where you are in the state's journey as well, right? If you look at where Nashville was 15 years ago, it's not exactly where Nashville is today. And so if you're not prepared for that influx, it could have a detrimental impact. All else equal, do you want to be a state that people want to move into versus one that people want to move out of? You probably want to be in the state that people want to move into because they want to move into there for good reasons. Same thing as the country. You want to be in a country where, you open the border under Biden, what did you see? People wanted to go one way and not the other. Well, you'd rather live in the country that people want to come to, but you got to protect yourself. At the level of a nation, that means the hard border. At the level of a state, what it means is actually anchoring who you are and staying true to that North Star in a way that says, great, we're happy if more people want to flock here, but it's part of the mission of who we actually are, rather than changing who we are, because eventually you're then going to be a state that people eventually want to get out of anyway. So in the long run, I think it's a pretty good metric if people want to move in rather than out. And the way I would love to lead Ohio is as a state of excellence, economic excellence and educational excellence. All right, if 9 states that are zero tax states, if you want to be a state that people are actually flocking to, it's table stakes at this point. I think that people should be able to keep what they make. Property taxes, I mean, this is actually true in probably multiple of our states, are getting increasingly insane, where if you have a high enough property tax, what it does is it effectively says you don't own your property. Your property becomes a permanent lease from the government. And you have a bunch of shackles that stop people from actually starting new businesses. What most of them are moving to Texas is because probably the most favorable environment for an entrepreneur right now to build a new business is in the state of Texas. I want that to be in the state of Ohio.
Did you know that studies show that 80% of resolutions fail by February? You can beat the odds with Lumen and improve your wellness. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach that helps measure your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it will tell you if it sees you're burning fat or carbs, and gives you tailored guidance to help improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress management. Just breathe into your Lumen when you wake up, and Lumen can tell you what's going on with your metabolism. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for the day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals. So Lumen can tell you exactly what's going on in your body real time and give you tips to keep you on top of your wellness game. Take the next step to helping improve your health. Go to lumen.me/SRS to get 20% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/SRS for 20% off your purchase. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Not sleeping well can negatively impact your quality of life. It's really no secret that getting a good night's sleep makes a huge difference. Ever since Helix sent me a mattress to try, I've been getting the best sleep of my life. I used to sleep too hot on my old mattress, but with Helix's award-winning mattresses, I'm sleeping through the night with no interruptions. I wake up feeling refreshed, and it really energizes me and helps me with my busy schedule. Helix knows everyone's unique, and they can match you based on your body type and sleep preferences. So many of my listeners are getting to experience what I've been experiencing for years with Helix. To get started, go to helixsleep.com/SRS for 20% off site-wide and get 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. That's helixsleep.com/SRS for 20% off site-wide and get 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. helixsleep.com/SRS. This episode is sponsored by Roka. Roka is a performance eyewear brand for people who want to invest in themselves. Roka manufactures premium sunglasses, prescription eyeglasses, and readers, and cuts all of their lenses here in the U.S. at their headquarters in Austin, Texas. Roca recently partnered with one of my favorite guests, Dr. Andrew Huberman, to launch a new line of glasses called the Wind Down Collection. Guys, I've tried these. You know I have problems sleeping. I absolutely love, love, love these frames and lenses. They're available with and without prescription and have a proprietary red lens that helps filter out short wavelength light. Short wavelength light is in pretty much all artificial light, and it's terrible for your sleep. Roca let me try a pair of these things, and I can feel the difference whenever I wear them. I wear them in the evening after the sun goes down. I pretty much started at dinner, and I wear it until bed. And let me tell you, these things work. With so many options in eyewear and wellness products out there, it's a relief to know the glasses I'm wearing help two things I really care about: my vision and my sleep. And as a business owner with all the decisions I already need to make every day, wearing a pair of Roca's glasses is one of the best ones I've made. Check them out for yourself at Roca.com and use code SRS for 20% off site-wide at checkout. That's Roca.com with code SRS.
So you think about education, you think about economic excellence, that's great. I think where we haven't really had a model in the country yet, what I would like to create as a model is, what does educational excellence actually look like? And I think this is the one where, as a parent, you have kids?
I do.
You do, yeah. How old are yours?
1 and 3.
Right. Pretty similar zip code to us. There's a
Hey,
funny
what's
thing.
up,
I've got
Humble Falls?
a soon-to-be 5-year-old and a 2-year-old who's going to turn 3 in July. This is the problem, that at the level of our nation, nobody is actually seriously talking about, both on the left or on the right. I think Republicans have been better than Democrats. We have a massive achievement crisis in the United States of America. We got 75% of 8th graders. They are not proficient in math compared to international standards. 70% of them aren't proficient in reading. And the worst part is, now you're starting to see there's other countries where English isn't even their first language, where kids in those countries are more proficient in English, better performing in English, than our own kids right here at home, where English is our only language. That's insane. It's unacceptable. And the thing about this, I mean, it goes to the first conversation we had about where the action is in terms of government and our impact.
That's where I was coming from.
Right
So I
now,
picked up this
this
load
year,
that I'm on.
Definitely federal level, because Biden and the past have done so much damage that Trump has to undo a lot of that at a fast and furious pace. But if he's successful, as I expect he's going to be, you roll the tape a few years forward, fixing education is not something that's done by the federal government. So who's going to fix that educational crisis? Yes, we have a lot of woke DEI issues. I mean, I was the chief DEI crusader, anti-DEI crusader, 4 or 5 years ago when I wrote Woke Inc. and criticized the spread of wokeism through corporate America and other parts of our culture. But now that we're about to enter, not quite there, but we're about to
No,
enter
it's
post-DEI
pretty
era,
fine right now. I'm a little
post-woke
worried
era.
about the ice
We gotta
because the
still
side
admit to
roads are
ourselves
pretty
that that
bad,
was part of the
but
problem. But it
so
wasn't
far
the
it's
entire
not
problem.
too much of
Accounting
a
for this
problem.
achievement crisis.
I am very light,
And
so
how do we
that's something
prepare
I gotta
ourselves
worry
to have
about.
those more people moving in, and it's tough. We have
But
tough times.
I haven't
Let's
killed
talk about
myself
the next
yet.
20 years. I think what we want is a generation of Americans who's actually equipped to compete. Because at the end of the day, China isn't looking the other way and giving us some sort of participation trophy at the end of it for complaining. We can't be victims. We got to be victorious. And I do think that lighting a fire under the feet of our educational system to prioritize achievement in math, reading, writing, critical thinking, physical fitness, by the way. I think that we've gone soft on this. Bring back early physical education, bring back the presidential fitness test. We used to do that. You know, I don't know, I mean, most kids are not probably able to do the level of pull-ups that kids were able to do, 30, 40 years ago. I think it goes to implications for mental health. I think it goes to implications for military preparedness. I think we have to have an education system that demands more of ourselves, and that has to be driven by the states. Actually, even think about knowing about the United States. I love how many American flags you have in this room. You know, and use a good sense of patriotism that we sometimes, leave behind for our kids. Most kids today who graduate from high school can't even pass the same civics exam that we require of a legal immigrant before they become a citizen. I think every high school senior who graduates from high school
I'm at
has a
Fargo
requirement
right
to
now.
pass that test. And it's a basic condition of citizenship in the nation, is that you know something about your nation in order to be a formed citizen of that nation. So I think we gotta get tough a little bit when it comes to some of these issues relating to the revitalization of our young generation.
Well, I think a lot of people are ready for that. I mean, homeschool is on a massive rise right now. Do you homeschool?
So we started that way. Yeah, I mean, I think that this year we were on that track, and then we, for our son, our older guy, we felt that he might have been benefit with socialization, but we're big fans of homeschooling. I think that school choice in most states, so Tennessee is in this category, has school choice, Ohio has school choice. It doesn't cover homeschooling. That needs to change. I mean, educational choice means full models of choice. And you got a lot of people coming through homeschooling backgrounds where those kids are doing better, even than kids who are educated, even in expensive private schools or public charter schools. But I'm not like a one-size-fits-all guy saying homeschooling's for everybody. And we get into this debate as well in higher education. Sometimes both sides will fall into this trap that it's all about four-year college degrees only, and that's the only path to the American dream. Or you got the reactionary backlash that'll say, oh, college is not for, college is a scam. Nobody should go there. It's only for 2-year and vocational degrees and apprenticeships. That's the way to go. Whether it's higher education or K through 12 education, I don't want a one-size-fits-all approach. I want everybody to be able to choose what the actual best path is for them. That's not a system we have right now. And I do think that universal school choice should actually, if you're going to call it that, should be universal in including homeschooling as the right option. And I think some parents will tell you this too. I mean, we've got young kids each ourselves. Yours are a little younger, but you'll probably notice this even more over time. They're different even in the same household. You're raising them in the same household under the same circumstances. One of them's a younger sibling and one of them's older, so it's different for each of them that way. But private school or public school might be the right option for one of them, and homeschooling might be the right option for the other one. It might change over different parts of their upbringing, and the people to know what's best for their kid, all else equal, is the parent. And I think that right now, people in wealthy families at least have the opportunity to hire home help or nannies or tutors or private school tuition or whatever it is.
Is that a train, a Norfolk Western? Is that one of the railroad companies that are out there?
So-called bleeding heart liberals have been bleeding their hearts over people in inner cities, people struggling with making ends meet, single-parent households. They're the ones who actually left holding the bag where their kids don't have that level of choice. And so I do think this is, I don't think it's an exaggeration to call this the civil rights issue of our time. I would call it that. And I hope that that's going to bring along not just traditional Republican support, but you think about anybody who's a parent wants to be able to choose to be able to send their kid to the best school they can. And even in the public schools, one of the things we don't have in this country right now is merit-based pay for teachers. I mean, you run a business of sorts, right? I run businesses. Generally, the way it works is the people who do the best job in creating value for the business are compensated more.
1 second, I cannot hear you. Give me, stop.
Or that fund.
I can't hear you.
From whatever. Why should it work any differently?
Just give me
in public
1
school?
second.
I mean, it shouldn't. We got a minute.
All right, what are you saying? You there? AT. That is moving. What's that? What'd you just say? I didn't know I was muted in Discord. That explains. I don't know why it muted me on Discord. Well, I'm sitting there, I start hearing you speak, and I had the podcast playing, and like I couldn't hear you because I also had my headset turned very low. But you just didn't stop talking. And I was like, what the fuck, AD? Yeah, okay, that checks out. Well, what you need to do is get yourself a phone mount similar to the one that I've got. The one that I've got that my phone on the top left is on is probably one of the better ones for stability, because that one doesn't, it's very rigid and it doesn't react to bumps very much, and you can orient it very well. That's the one I used to use to do my dash cam on Discord and things like that, and that was always very good. So I could show, it's unfortunately a little expensive, but you get one of those, you feed it through Discord. I can have it run off my laptop, see if I can get rid of my passenger seat and my Peterbilt that I'm going to be in. If I can get rid of the passenger seat, I could run my laptop and have Discord as the second feed showing what you're showing. So we could run it off the same channel, or you could run your own. Well, it's 200. You're not the reason. But you're not the reason why I put money on it. It was because of no agenda. No, it was because no agenda's take. That's why I decided to put money down on it. Yeah, but I'm not really like. This is gonna sound rude, but I don't like. I take your takes with a grain of salt sometimes, man. Like, there has to be something like, sometimes. Well, La Palma's isn't even good because he makes half his shit up. Yeah, but you use TikTok a lot, and TikTok is full of shit. What do you mean? Like, 90% of TikToks is fucking bullshit and just completely made up. Yeah, but I think you got correct for the wrong reasons. You got it correct. You got the Philadelphia Eagles winning, but for the wrong reasons. Yeah. No, I didn't listen to the halftime show, not yet. From what I've heard, it was edited, and they had cut parts out of the live stream out, because there were some footage supposedly of some guy with a Palestinian flag jumping up there that apparently didn't hit the live stream. So I don't know. There's not going to be any revolution. No one's revolting, dude. Nothing ever happens. being black has nothing to do with it. It's not as big of a deal as you. Yeah, but most of these guys end up being like black as Israelites and are completely fucking insane. Yeah, but that's not even going deep. It's just retarded. You're just like these guys blatantly misinterpret information because they desperately want them to be in a different, like a superior position than what they were in. That's where it's like I can't take a lot of these guys' information correctly because they have an extreme bias and ego that overtakes whatever information they put out or they've taken. Nobody knows. So what's the purpose? What do we have to offer them and they have to offer us? Yeah? Plenty of it. There's plenty of culture, dude. What are you talking about? That's such a very generic statement, though. That you've got these douchebags on TikTok that will fucking sell the shit out of that to idiots who buy it. Like I don't see any value in that statement in terms of like monetizing it. Yeah, and then you're gonna get pulled over by every cop that fucking goes past you, and it's gonna make your life hell. Yeah, because you want conflict. I don't. What conflict this morning? Oh yeah, I got inspected, but it was just paperwork check. Yeah. And I would rather not increase the times in which those occur. Because, you know, if I had that little Freemason sticker getting pissed on emblem on the side of my truck, maybe instead of just a paperwork check, they would pull me in and fuck my life up with a whole truck inspection. It's not worth the conflict, dude. Like, I don't get this desire to show these fucking useless people, which are cops, that, like, oh, I got you, I know more. It seems completely like a waste of time, and the more often than not, you're gonna screw yourself over than getting anything out of it. I don't see the point in it. Because nothing's gonna fucking change. You're not gonna change these people. You're not gonna change the fucking, you know, get them out of the lodges that they're in, or have them to see fucking reason. No, because they don't care either. They just are gonna send you to court, like what I fucking went through, and make your life hell for 6 months, a year, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you want to fight in court, well, yeah, if I went to trial and lost, I would be in fucking jail for a year and $100,000 indebted to the government. Like, what's the point? There's no point, you know? It's just, it's too risky. Yeah, we're getting fucked. Just keep your head down and stay low. What's to stand for what? All of this stuff is fucking. Because it's ego. They're in a little fucking club in their circle, and their ego kicks in, and it doesn't go anything further than that. The world is so fucking massive that you're just gonna deal with some fucking jackass's ego, and then if you try to stand up for it, all you do is affect him, and he ultimately has more power over you, and nothing is gonna change in the world. This idea, when you, like, this is why I don't get, is you have all these protests out there, and especially these fucking liberals that think they can make a difference in the world. Anytime you see a protest that appears that it's been successful, it's been funded and co-opted by some fucking NGO and at the behest of the government to push an agenda. So, as far as we know, none of these things are fucking natural. None of these movements or protests, they all serve an ulterior purpose, and anybody that tries to participate in it under the guise of saving the fucking world or making a difference is just a useless fucking pawn. So what's the point in standing up? Like, there is no point. Yeah, but that's such a fantasy that, like, it's the odds of that happening are so statistically insignificant. It's more likely that it will never happen in all of time than for that to occur. And the reason for that is because no. So, while all of those things are true, the bigger issue is most people are followers by nature. They are inherently followers, and from that fucking Eglin Air Force Base research paper, the shit that was pulled on us through fucking GLP that we saw, there is control to be obtained from both controlling the followers and or controlling the leader. If you want to control a leader, you control the followers. And you manipulate and if you want to control the followers, you control the leader, and you do both. And so it doesn't matter what will happen. At some point, whoever gets placed in charge or whoever becomes the figurehead will be corrupted. There is the only solution for any of our problems is decentralization and making it so that no single person could obtain any more power over anyone else than anyone else. That's the only fucking solution. Now, not to say, like, there can't be rule and law or structure. It's not total anarchy, because in total anarchy you still have corruption, and groups will form in order to and seek to dominate each other. But like there's no fucking way that there could be a pure movement in today's fucking world. There is just no way, because at some point someone will get bought out, someone will get blackmailed, someone will get threatened, someone will voluntarily betray you. So I just like, so this idea of standing up for sovereignty or freedom, I just don't see the fucking point. I really don't. There's no value in it to me. I don't care. I would rather just fucking play Baldur's Gate, wait for the fucking world to end, and drive a cool truck. Like, to me, that I get more value out of that than trying to make a fucking difference in this world, because it's pointless. Okay. Yeah, and what revolution? Who's there to stand up? Because if you had listened to like pay attention to that middle section of No Agenda when they were going over USAID, it demonstrates like their interpretation of what's happening with USAID and how there's possibly a conflicting group with the DEI stuff. Dvorak seems to think that the guys pushing DEI and the guys pushing all the like trans Maoism through USAID are separate people. Adam seems to think that they're the same people. And they play a clip from Germany. There's 120,000 people protesting in Germany about the AfD and what they're calling the extreme right now. They've changed the name, they've escalated, and that we gotta accept everybody and whatnot. And the person the news brings on to show this is some blue-haired, fucking pink eyelash guy, you know, that you can, it's a fucking tranny, right? And that's bitching about, oh, we just gotta be protected. But, and then they break down how long has been the one pushing this tranny. They added the T to the LGBT, and then they added Q, which Q is completely ambiguous. Queer just means anything. Anybody can be queer, meaning join our group, you can join us, we just want to be accepted. And it's a complete fabrication that they've gotten all these people to buy into all around the world, all pushed from the United States. And this is where you got the JQ guys that don't seem to understand, because they think it's, you know, the JQ that's pushing this. But no, it's literally the United States. The United States is entirely responsible for this creation since the fucking 70s. And that's when, as early as that, in the Nixon administration, and when USAID came into place, it was started to push this. So these are the people, these government organizations, or the government organization combined with the NGOs, who have structured and propagandized these people over the past 50 years in order to become radicalized. These are the people that would be doing the revolt. And the issue with these people is the only time that they succeed in anything is when there's large amounts of money flowing into them to fund all this. The funding is the key word. And the moment that money runs out, these things fucking fail. Like, and they fail really badly. Similar thing with the DEI stuff. And so the question is, and you can look on Reddit, assuming that any of these people are real people and not bots, you see there's a lot of people that are fucking radical as fuck right now. A lot. About Trump being in office and all this bullshit. But when you take all those people that are radical as fuck and you put them in a room and start counting them, That's a very small percentage of the population. They're just loud. So who is going to be doing this revolution? Because those people can't succeed. They don't have numbers and they don't have support, despite how loud they are. And right now they don't have funding. So it can't be them. Who is it then? Who's revolting? Israel? Well, we fucked them over with this fucking USAID shit, LGBTQ shit as well. So, and there were hundreds of thousands, supposedly, or thousands, whatever the number was, before October 7th, protesting Netanyahu. Because we have tricked them into that as well. So, maybe the Israelites, but again, what will they be revolting against? That's, what does that even mean? How does that play into this? So what group? So is this the people of Israel? Is this the Jews? Is this the Israelites? Like, is it the Zionists? Oh, the melanated people, so the black Israelites that are going to do this. Do you know how many black Israelites are out there, dude? It's so little. There's so fucking small of them. And there's a lot of black guys that like Trump that... See, the only people on the melanated side of things that are upset right now are black women. You're not going to find black men upset about what's happening. No. Because there's plenty of black men that are down with Trump and that have been pushed aside by the Democrats. That's one thing. The left side of things have really shunned black men, and especially the culture that's associated with them. And people are kind of realizing that they're responsible for a lot of the issues that plague their communities. When you go back to all the eugenics experiments that were played on them in the 70s, you have the crack epidemic, the CIA, like they've been fucked with a lot. Exactly. So black men have been really fucked with for a long time, and they've seen that it's the left side of things that's done that to them. And so I don't see those guys standing up and revolting against anything. Maybe the people in prisons, maybe that becomes an issue or a point of contention. But all they have to do to prevent that from revolting is just free any non-violent person or anyone with marijuana offense. And there you go, that goes away. We'll see if they do it, but I don't know. I just don't see, like, logistically, I don't see a group that could revolt and have a reason to. Now, who's to say that something isn't completely fabricated and drums up in the relatively near future that then forces a nonsense revolution upon us? That's not impossible, you know. That's something that could be done, but I just don't see the avenue in which they can take right now to cause that. I don't know, man. I just have a hard time, like, believing any of that stuff anymore. It's like the predictive programming, yeah, there's stuff to it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much predictive programming happens. What ends up occurring in the future is something that nobody really puts together. And only in hindsight do people say they called it or they knew. They're always fucking wrong about how things play out. TED Talk, or thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm becoming a cynical and very skeptical about everything, and I just don't fucking care anymore. Yeah, so just enjoy yourself while we still got fucking time. And whatever happens, happens. I'm not worried about any of it anymore. So, especially during 2020 and COVID, I was so riled up and worried and scared about what was happening to the world and the future. And it did nothing for me. I gained nothing from it. Most of my fears didn't come true, although there's some things that did happen that were really upsetting. But at the end of the day, it was useless for me to be upset about any of it. Like, it didn't get me anywhere. Instead, just fucking deal with whatever problem as it comes to me. And that's all you can really hope for. Shit with Savage last night fucking upset me. It's like, God, dude. I'm not projecting one thing. Like, was what I was saying, like, wrong or a hard concept to grasp? Because, like, with... Well, I mean, I'm even talking to this stuff with Billy. Like, it's... Like, do you agree that there's got to be something more to it that has nothing to do with this physical world? And who knows, maybe they find a way to pull you back in after that. Maybe the reincarnation is true. Maybe it is the soul fucking recycling and psychic energy harvesting facility. Well, how would being buried stop it? I never really watched it. So I which Avatar are you talking about? The like the Airbender stuff? That's what I was referencing. I wasn't referencing the blue aliens Avatar. I was talking about like Avatar: Last Airbender, because that like the whole idea, like the magic they have is of those elements: air, earth, fire, water, and yeah, something like that. But I never watched it enough to be able to see the thing with like with burying people or burying, whatever you fucking want to call it, it's always been a thing. Like that's the thing. Like the cremation is more often used in modern times, although there's examples of people being cremated in the past. But in terms of like laying a body to rest, it's always been to put them in the ground. That's kind of why I'm hesitant to kick him out. Is because like in person he was cool. He was still a little crazy, but he was much more so yes, but not in necessarily things that I already didn't, or like there was nothing he brought up that I didn't know, just as like subsurface knowledge, but it was interesting the perspectives he had on it. See, Savage issue is he's too concrete about what he thinks, and there's no wiggle room. Like, you can't have a discussion about him and have a contradictory idea, because much as we saw last night, you know, it doesn't matter, like, whatever he's feeling at the time is, oh, well, they're clinically insane, regardless of that. He knows about all the sacred geometry, he knows about the, like, how it's, like, the basis for life and its purpose. Like, he's very familiar with that stuff. At that point in time, he's not taking into account, and he just wants to say that they're insane, and you can't like open the door, even if we're just throwing ideas out there, whether we believe it or not. So it's very difficult to have a conversation about it, and he will argue with you about it. It's the same thing where it's like you can't really disagree with La Palma about certain things, although La Palma's much more lenient on being able to have a discussion. Yes, I don't think Savage is stupid. He's smart, but whatever happened to him in the military caused him to have, because he explained to me there's some things that happened to him out there, and so he has there's some sort of like speech barrier that he's dealing with, that it's not like a speech impediment, because he can speak just fine, but in terms of processing words that other people say, the way his brain is wired is different, and so it's very difficult to have some of those conversations with him, because even though you know that you and him are on the same page about something, it's just he is interpreting your words differently. Shit, might be MK Ultra, I don't know. There was something in intelligence that he did. It was like managing certain systems of some kind, so I don't know. But it's you know, it's like I don't dislike him, but I just can't fucking, especially at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna have to. Well, it's like how my guy, you would always, like, in order to have any conversation with my guy, you would always have to, because he would say something fucking retarded, and you would have to end up taking the conversation to the most macro scale of all conspiracies in life. And for is otherwise, because, like, you know what I'm talking about with them, where he would say something and be like, well, what about this? We're like, okay, dude, we're gonna have to now zoom all the way out and establish every problem in the fucking universe, even though we've done that so many fucking times, before we can have a discussion on this thing. It's like, why can't we acknowledge each other that we have a mutual understanding about our perspectives, which we should. Like, if we don't have that by now after 5 years, then what are we fucking doing? We're just repeating ourselves over and over and over again. Yeah, the GLP crowd is like the pinnacle definition of that. So yeah, let's talk about, you know, well, the Bible says for the 673rd time today. Well, and half the time, or not half the time, but it seems like not all Bibles are the same either. As we saw with Sky's Bible and fucking yours, the one that you were reading off of. It's like, well, well, I just don't think he wanted that No, he wasn't even thinking about that he was conned or whatever. He just didn't even want to have the discussion. Ever. And a lot of people are like that. You know, there's a lot of these religious people that are exactly like that, where it's not that they think they've been conned or that they have a different perspective or take. It's, I don't know, but I don't think it's schizophrenia. I don't. ever gonna take my my shellfish or my shrimp away from me. Never. I will kill you if you try to take away my goddamn fucking shrimp. And goddamn right I want to kill myself if it means I get to eat shrimp. I could do without catfish. I don't particularly like catfish. I like it tastes good. But shrimp and fucking mussels and oysters and clams, clam chowder, dude. Fuck yeah. Are you out of your mind? You don't like clam chowder? We're crazy. That's like my favorite dish. I love it so much. Especially there's a couple places like in Washington. That was the best clam chowder. Best seafood in the whole fucking country. It's in Washington. Washington, in terms of like the shellfish and like the salmon, it is so much better than anywhere else. It's better than anything I've ever had on the East Coast. Fucking hands down. You ever had a gooey duck before? No, a gooey duck, not duck. You ain't ever heard of a gooey duck? Look up a gooey duck. I love me some gooey duck too. It's far from a duck. Oh yeah, we used to go pick them straight out of the fucking sand, right on the Puget Sound. Go on the beach, you can go find them, pick them up, cook them right up. Fucking delicious. What do you mean? It's delicious, man. Yeah, but you're telling me that you don't think the fucking the richest people in the country, Alexandria, are gonna have some spots for the best private way? Yeah, Alexandria, Virginia, right up on DC, is one of the richest counties in the whole fucking country. That's where all the fucking DOD guys hang out. Yes, it's the most expensive. I would say richest, but most expensive counties in the think it might be. Yeah. That's why they're all there. That's all the fucking DOD guys, the defense contractors, the lobbyists. They're all there. Because it's expensive as fuck, bro. What are you talking about? What I'm getting at, if you want to go to the state, that's where you go. Because, of course, those guys are going to have the fucking best state in the world. And who knows who we'll run into while we're out there. Gotta go with it. invited my main account, in which I copied and pasted that invite to Jorge Taco, which I renamed to Jorge Taco. And I made sure to unfriend everybody on that account. So Billy Bob isn't on the friends list. Now I can't delete the chats, any chats they've had on that account. I can't get rid of. So they might be able to figure it out. I can't.
Oh.
AT. They might they like come taxes maybe this time or maybe next time, we might get fucked. So all of the IRS's systems runs off of something called Cobalt. It's a very old language, and there's not a lot of examples of it being used, with the exception of about every government system. As the guys who originally built those systems are phased out, they retire, they go away, they stop, new systems are going to be wanting in place because the new generation doesn't know how to use Cobalt. And if they try to modify anything, they're going to fucking destroy it. And so the theory is that it's going around is that they're trying to rework the IRS's tax form system, and they're gonna fuck it up real bad to the point where they'll just have to say you won't need to file. The issue with that is that also means that nobody gets their tax returns. Well, exactly, because the system won't work. They'll have to come up with something else, and this might tie into the whole crypto thing that they've got looming in the background about switching us over to that. Because if Trump intends to not have income tax and the IRS system fails, well, a lot of people are going to be out thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, Billy Bob's going to get fucked. That's for sure, because he's been really relying on his tax return to come in. And if they say no, like, oh, you don't have to file, that's a whole bunch of money that that people don't get. Fucks them over, cause problems. Who knows, the snowball effect. On top of that, as I mentioned, it opens the door for the crypto. And who knows what other government system is going to get shut down by them trying to change over from Cobalt to, you know, some new language. This is where it's also really good that I switched to 1099 this year, so I'll have a certain part of last year fucked if this does happen, but if it continues to happen into next year, I'll be fucking golden. Oh, it's easy. So you'll get a 1099 form. Now your taxes are not, essentially taxes aren't taken out. And I don't know if you have to pay Social Security. You might have to pay Social Security. That might be included in taxes. But for every paycheck you make, put away a third. Because when tax season comes around next year, you'll have to pay up your taxes. And if you didn't put your money in, then you'll end up owing all that money at some point. Also, because you are now an independent contractor, the things you could write off and get discounted from your taxes that you will owe. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Correct. I don't know to what extent that goes. I'll find this out shortly enough. Yes, but in my case, I know that like clothes can, in my case, can be written off. I don't know how applicable it is to other people though, and like that goes beyond just the uniform, because of it's anything used for work. And while I'm on the road, everything's used for work for me. So there's a lot of shit I can do. I don't know how much that goes to you though. We'll see. And then the good thing about 1099 is if you're behind at all, like I was a little bit when I switched over here and had that time between you know, paychecks and getting out over there, it has allowed me to get myself back on track very quickly, because I have much more money that isn't being taken on taxes. The only thing is, as I go on, I'll have to get very frugal here in the short term to offset that getting back on track. That makes sense, because right now I've only got enough to cover the first month I was worked here for this tax season. I've been putting away for January and February. I don't have my taxes put away yet. So, which I'm not worried about it. It's like, it'll be fine. I need to switch to South Dakota residency very quickly, so I don't have to pay Arizona income tax anymore, because Arizona income tax fucking sucks. So I need to do that probably by the end of March or April. So, well, I'm not saying in terms for taxes, because like last year's already done. It wouldn't matter last year. I'm talking about for taxes next year. Because that like, I've already got my taxes covered for last year. So I'm not too worried about it. I've got to go file them, but I'm waiting to see what happens with the IRS thing. Whether we do or don't. Or maybe I should file them early and get my tax return in case something does happen and nobody's tax return comes in. I don't know. What's up, Iron Patriot? What are you doing? Nice. Nice. I still need to get Star Citizen. I've got a computer that could run it now. I just haven't delved into it yet. I need to. Yeah, I've been caught up in Space Engineers 2 and Baldur's Gate. I've got 1,200 mods installed in Baldur's Gate right now. That's oh yeah. Well, they a lot of what I have is quality of life stuff, as well as all of the 5th edition spells from 5th edition D&D are in there now. So there's a whole bunch of more interactions that are possible that originally weren't, and even the enemies are able to use those spells. And so you'll see shit happen to you. You're like, what the fuck was that? So they're pretty smart with how they use it too. It's impressive how they got it to fit in, as well as a lot of the encounters, or there's more encounters, as well as a lot of encounters have been reworked and changed, so that every fight you go into is a relatively new experience. Now there's not a whole lot out there that changes the story dramatically, but in terms of like additional items and things like that. Oh yeah. Minthara. Nice. Yep. So on my current playthrough, I'm doing like I'm a Gith Yankee, and I'm doing a relatively good playthrough, and so I do want Minthara as a companion because I didn't get to have I didn't get her or Halson. So I knocked her out on the fight at the Grove, and so hopefully she spawns at Moonrise. I'll have to actually there I get her, because if she spawns at Moonrise Towers, I could save her and then get her. Well, you can go in. You don't even have to. You can like defeat the Goblin camp and knock her on instead of killing her. She'll spawn at Moonrise Towers, and when you show up there, because nobody knows that you're the guys who took out the Goblin camp, you can walk in as a true soul, and you'll see her in Ketheric as she's being interrogated, and they'll send her down to the dungeons, and then you go save her. Yeah. No, you do. You do. You don't have to sleep with her to get that. Because I think you got to convince Ketheric to torture her instead of just kill her outright. And that allows her to go. You could go downstairs and get her. But some of the there's spells that are really useful that have been added, like create and destroy water or create and destroy flame. Yep. So the build that I have on Lae'zel right now is I've been wanting to do a lightning charge build, but there hasn't really been enough items in the base game to promote that and make it something that's useful. But in this modded version I have, she has a shield that anytime you hit an enemy, it spawns a 2-meter wide water circle around the character. And then I have the lightning charge boots, which when you start combat, you get 3 lightning charges. And then I have the trident from saving Counselor Floric in the burned down building on the first act. Remember that you gotta like run into the fire and get her. And the trident, anytime you hit an enemy, it electrifies the area around you and gives you a lightning charge. And at 4 lightning charges, you gain 4 health per turn. And so she lays L with this because, so in a permanent 2-foot radius around her, it's just lightning, electricity damage. She always has lightning charges because she pretty much starts with 4. She gains health, you can't kill her, and she does crazy fucking damage with it. It's a really synergistic build, and I wouldn't have been able to do it in the base game. It's working out really well. So it depends. Yeah, well, it's entirely dependent on the host, because you get into the game. It's the host's game you're going into, so whatever state. So you can go in and join random games that are just being